Alright, Mr. Simons here. Welcome to lesson 5. So in this lesson we will formally define a function. You learn what's vertical and horizontal line testing. We're going to name functions according to their x and y coordinates. Alright, so a function is defined as follows. It is a set of ordered pairs where for every value of x there is only one and one value for y. So every x value can only have one y value. However, for the same value of y, there may be different values of x. Right? So I can't have one x that has three y values. So if x equal to 1, then I have y equal to minus 2, y equal to 5. Then it's not referred to as a function. Right? But I can have one y value, so I can have y as 4. And with the same 4, I can have x as negative 2 and x as positive 2. If that's the case, it's referred to as a function. By now, you should know domain, all values of x on the graph, that the graph would touch, and range, all values of y. Right, now we have what we call a vertical line test to check whether a graph follows the function, follows the definition. So, vertical line test. This test requires to draw a vertical line parallel to the y-axis. So you see there, parallel to the y-axis and perpendicular to the x-axis. So there where it makes contact with the x-axis, it will form a 90-degree angles. We move the line across the graph to check. Now for every input value x, so you see for every x there, input value of x, we have only one output value y, so we only have one place where it's touching. The graph is considered a function. However, if we look at this one here, this line intersects the graph in more than one place. It is not a graph or a function. So we have one value of x, but I have two different y values. So this is not a function, but referred to as a relationship. So when I draw this vertical line, if it only touches one place of the graph, it's a function. Touches more than one place, it's not a function. So the vertical line cuts the graph more than once there. So therefore, for every input value, there is more than one output value. Right? If we put a horizontal line, the horizontal line would cut the graph only once, no matter where I draw the horizontal line. So we say x to y. So for x, I have one value. So that's 1, but for y I have many. So this that I've drawn there is called a one-to-many relationships. Ne? So it's not a function, it's not a graph. It can't function. You can't have one-to-many relationships. Must learn to be faithful in life and work hard with your partner and you'll both become successful. This running around and doing things, you're just looking for unnecessary troubles. Alright, so there I've done horizontal and vertical line tests both. So horizontal line, as you can see, cuts in two places. Right? Vertical line only cuts once. No matter where I move the vertical line, it will only cut the graph once. So this is a function. Right? So for my x value, I have more than one, so that's called many. For my y value, I have one, so this function is called many to one. So there's just written what I've just stated to you. Vertical line cuts once, horizontal line more than once. So therefore x to y, many to one. Right? Now, when naming these functions, we name them from x to y. No? So we have one x value and two y values. The x there is 1, so we have 1, 2. In my y value, there's two of them, many. So one-to-many relationships. So a straight line, horizontal and vertical line will only cut it once. Therefore, it's called a one-to-one function. And its inverse will, if I swap x and y, will also remain one-to-one. So therefore, straight line and its inverse are both functions. For parabola, we have many to one, meaning x has more than one value, y only one, right? But its inverse now will become one to many. If that's many to one, x and y swaps, one to many. Hyperbola, would have a horizontal and vertical line will only touch it once, so therefore 1 to 1, and its inverse also 1 to 1 if we swap them around. Remember, inverse is simply reflection of the line y equal to x. Exponential is also 1 to 1, and its inverse will also be 1 to 1. Now 1 to many is not a function. It will fail a vertical line test. Right? So in exam we will test that specific one that's not a function. Explain to us why it's not a function. We basically would say no, it's not a function, and we would explain that the inverse fails a vertical line test, and then we would state that the original function is many to one function, but the inverse is a one to many relationship for 3 marks. Right? If you're enjoying the lesson so far and you're understanding, please like, share and subscribe.